How do you deal with people who has a victim mentality? That's what I want to talk about in this particular video. So whether you're an entrepreneur, boss, executive, leader that's leading others, or simply a friend to another friend, we all been approached. We all been in close proximity with someone who has a victim mentality, right? So today's video, I want to talk about how do you deal with one of those people who has a victim mentality. So let's first talk about what is the definition of a victim mentality. To me, a victim mentality is someone who constantly blame others on how their life currently is, or business is, or whatever it is, right? Victim mentality to me is that they always feel that life is against them, and they approach everything with a negative attitude, a negative tone, a negative way of looking things. That is a victim and negative mentality, right? And also someone who's constantly blaming other people without taking any full responsibilities. So those are the few definitions what real victim mentality is, right? So how do you deal with someone who has a victim mentality, right? And you're working with someone's next to you has a victim mentality. That could be your friend, that could be your brother, that could be a leader that you're trying to develop, that could be someone that's just really someone that you care for, but you happen to listen to all this message from this individual. So understand there are a couple steps that I recommend you to learn how to handle someone who has a victim mentality. The first thing I would do is acknowledge, right? And sometimes people go through a lot of tough times in their life. Instead of them brushing them off and trying to motivate them and say, hey, don't worry about it, life is better, it's gonna be better, tomorrow will be better. They don't want to hear all that. People who go through victim mentality because they probably went through certain tough times in their life. They became very insecure. It could be personally, they encounter certain challenges in their personal life, or in business, or whatever that might be. We don't know about that. We don't know why someone has a victim mentality. But what we do know is that someone who has a victim mentality is very insecure about themselves. They are not feeling great about themselves, and they don't even know sometimes why they behave like that, right? So the first thing that I like to do is to acknowledge people. Acknowledgement is simply saying that, hey, I understand how you feel. I understand where you're coming from. The way you talk, your behaviors, the way you act, it's very negative. It's really bothering a lot of people around you, right? But I understand where you're coming from. So the first thing is acknowledgement, right? And the second thing is asking that person in front of you who has a victim mentality a question or questions, right? So you have this victim mentality. It seems like you're blaming on others on everything that you have or don't have now. And it's pretty obviously you're not very happy. You're kind of insecure about a lot of things. Why is that, right? Ask them a question, why is that? And if you continue with this behavior, what do you think your life will look like? You think it's going to be positive, or you think it's going to be negative? Because when you're negative, you attract a lot of people negative around you. Do you want your life to continue to go towards that dark direction, or do you want to change it? And what kind of solutions do you have in mind? Or maybe you want other people to give you a solution how to pivot and eventually drift to a brightest direction, and your life can become better. So the second step is to ask that person questions about why they feel this way, and are you looking forward to make that change, right? And then the third step now is about encouragement, right? At the end, people need encouragement in a way of providing solutions, or give them hope and say, look, tomorrow, things can be better as long as you do certain things, ... As long as you choose the right environment, ... As long as you read certain books and seek help from the right people, ... Right? So you're giving encouragement / solution. You're not just, hey, tomorrow's better. You want to give them solution of how can they improve their life better and get to a level where they feel confident about themselves and being positive again. And then the next step would be accountability, right? I think without accountability, most people, they're going to be lost again, right? Accountability means that you're asking permission for people to give you permission to hold them accountable, right? So I'll be like, hey, John, if you want to make change today, I know it's not going to be easy. I know it's going to be very tough, but I care for you enough that I'm going to hold you accountable. Would you mind to be the person who holds you accountable if if I find you speaking negatively, if I find you your behavior is being a victim again, would you mind I remind you again, because it's important, if it's important for you to become better in every aspect of your life. So you're asking permission for that person to give you permission to hold them accountable. So the accountability is very important, right? Because they need a lot of help, right? So the last thing, it's not easy. It's not easy for you as a person who want to handle certain people who have a victim mentality. And the last solution is acceptance, right? Because a lot of you might say, you know what if I did all that? What if I acknowledge what they're going through? What if I, ask a lot of questions and try to lead them to the right directions? What if I encourage them multiple times? As a matter of fact, many times. What if I even gave them solutions and I try to hold them accountable, but at the end they still don't change? What do we do now? Well, the last thing that you can do, the only thing you can do at that moment is acceptance. Acceptance means that it is what it is. If you gave all you got to certain people, you teach them, you guide them, you show them what to do, at the end they still have that victim mentality. Guess what you have to do? You have to accept who they are, and eventually you have to drift away, move on, because if you don't, you spend so much time in trying to save that person, ultimately that person can drain all of your energy. And that might not be the best solution. That might not be the best thing I'm telling you, but that is probably the only thing you can do at that point, at the end of everything, okay? So I hope you get my message for today. It is, how do you handle people who has a victim mentality, all right? JW here, and thank you so much for your support and love. Post a comment below and let me know what you think about today's video. Your feedbacks matter to me, all right? See you next time. Take care. JW here. If you like my content, comment below and download my JW Just Win app. See you next time.